it's Bree and you're watching Wishpond's podcast video interview series. And today we talk with the very sweet Andrew Torba, CEO and co-founder of Cocoon, which helps digital advertisers automate their Facebook ad campaign creation, optimization, and management. Today we learn how he got started, his failures to his achievements in building Cocoon, and some great Facebook ad tips along the way. So let's talk to Andrew and learn more.
So I'm Andrew Torba. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cocoon. Cocoon was founded in October of 2011 while myself and my co-founder Charles Szymanski were undergraduates. So CJ and I have been best friends since 8th grade. We knew we wanted to get into business together, and Cocoon is actually our second business, our second startup as well. We started another startup when we were freshmen in college, spent about a year on it, completely tanked and failed pretty hard.
What was it?
Learned a lot. So we were trying to do a location-based social network, which is back in 2009 when that space was kind of blowing up. And it was a mobile-only social network that would kind of connect you with people around you that had similar interests to you using Facebook's interest graph. We never really got off the ground, and the idea is kind of difficult because it's the chicken and the egg problem where you need kind of multiple people using the app, and then also it's kind of awkward. If you're out at a bar, you're out somewhere, you're not going to be on your phone trying to connect with people. You're more than likely going to go up to them and introduce yourself. Yeah. So that's, and you see that with that space kind of died out over the past couple of years. But yeah, so we learned a lot. We learned a lot of lessons, through that venture, and started Cocoon in October 2011, actually at a startup weekend in Columbus, Ohio. So another friend of ours that we grew up with, Vince Schmiegel, his name is, he actually completely branded Cocoon. He's the one who came up with the entire concept behind Cocoon's brand and the logo and all that good stuff.
What is the concept behind that?
Yeah, so the idea is that we take you into the cocoon and we transform you into a social media butterfly.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, so Cocoon, like the regular way to spell it, was obviously taken, and I reached out to the domain owner, and it's a domain squatter who said that he's gotten, six-figure offers for it, and it's not for sale. So we were like, okay, let's just spell it how it sounds, because we knew we wanted that brand. But anyway, we started out in a startup weekend in Columbus, Ohio. We're from Scranton, Pennsylvania, but I flew out to Columbus, Ohio, because that's where our friend Vince was, and he said, hey, there's this startup weekend event going on here. You should come out. I know you guys are talking about starting another company. It would be the perfect place to kind of launch, and get started and hash out the idea. So the original idea was we were actually going to be teaching people, specifically businesses, how to get started with digital marketing. So showing them like how to create a Facebook page, how to create a Twitter page, what is a tweet, all of that type of stuff. I was actually making like screen sharing videos that would teach people these things. And then on the back end, we had a platform that was a content management system. So as you were learning, you would be able to manage all of your content and manage all of your social accounts in one spot. Cool. So we ended up launching, we scrapped the education component of that because what ended up happening is we couldn't keep up with the changes that were happening so quickly in the space. Yep. So we'd make a video and 2 weeks later it would be outdated. And what we were finding is we were showing these videos to business owners and they were like, can you just like do this for us? Like, could we just hire you to do this for us? So we're like, aha, well, we could create an agency and, generate revenue, as a service agency. So we did that for about 2 years while we were in college, and we actually grew the company to about 10 people. Wow. So we were like, as an agency, we had clients around the world, and we were learning a lot about problems that we were having internally that we wanted to solve with technology because we knew we wanted to be a technology company. So we started building tools internally to kind of help us and our team manage these clients. And the first tool was that CMS system. So we wanted to manage all of our clients' accounts in one spot, et cetera. And we really weren't happy with a lot of the products that were on the market at the time, so we wanted to build our own and really just build something for us. And we ended up showing it to a couple of friends, and they're like, you need to launch this as a product. So in July of 2013, we launched that as our first initial product. By December, we ended up getting about 3,000 users, but we really couldn't justify monetizing because the space is extremely crowded. And what we were finding is that native platforms like Facebook and Twitter started to build in a lot of the value-added features that these content management systems had. So, for example, you can schedule content on Facebook now. You can schedule content on Twitter through.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then yeah, you obviously have massive players in the space that kind of own the space already. You have Buffer and Hootsuite and stuff like that. But we kind of saw that space as dying out, mainly because native was kind of taking over
I
and
see.
building in all of the value-added features like advanced analytics and scheduling
Right.
content and all that type of stuff. And the value add of just having everything in one spot really wasn't enough value add to justify trying to build a company off of it. So the next step was like, okay, we know that paid media is next, and we know that we have a ton of problems internally with paid media. Number one, like my biggest frustration would be I would be out and I'd have a client email me and say, what's going on with this campaign? Or I'd be traveling or something, and I wouldn't be able to go in and look at the campaign from my phone. I'd have to delete the M from the browser, like typing it in to the browser, because you can't do it from Facebook's app at the time anyway. You have to zoom in and then go through hundreds of different ads and find out what's going on with that one specific ad, and then
Yeah.
zoom in and pause it.
And you're talking
So
about Facebook ads specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically Facebook ads. So we're like, let's build an app that lets Facebook advertisers, have complete control of their ad spend from the palm of their hand. Like we were just jaw dropped that Facebook didn't have something like this, or nobody in the market thought to make an app like this. So we were actually first to market with an app that let Facebook advertisers manage their spend and have complete control of it from the palm of their hand. And with that, we ended up getting a ton of organic traction from people just, searching on the App Store, searching on Google for an app to do this.
Yeah.
So kind of overnight, we got like 1,500 advertisers within like maybe 2 months. And
Wow.
it kind of blew us away because we were trying to keep it very low key, and we mainly built it for ourselves, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, what's next? Like, we know there's a lot of other problems. We know that we have a lot of other problems, and let's talk to these 1,500 advertisers and figure out what their biggest pain points are, and then build a product that solves it. So some of the bigger pain points were advertisers spend all day, every day, watching their campaigns like a hawk, right? So they have to see how they're performing, pause the poor performing ads, create new ones,
Yeah.
A and B test, spend the time in the clunky ads manager and power editor creating all of these ad sets and ads. And literally it just takes up all of their time, including my own, right? So it was taking up a lot of my time as well.
Yep.
It was taking up a ton of my time as well. So I was like, okay, there has to be like an automated solution for this. And we started hashing out this idea more, and we started looking at advertising on the internet in general. And we said to ourselves, advertising on the internet right now is very fragmented, and advertisers who may not have ever advertised on the internet before, specifically in the SMB space, which is probably the number one growing space for digital advertising right now, they're clueless. They have no idea where to start. They don't know if they should do Google ads. They don't know if they should do Facebook ads. If they figure out they want to do it, they don't know how to do it. So they end up outsourcing it to an agency who's going to take 15-20% of their ad spend, or they have to hire somebody in-house to do it full time, which they don't have the budget for. So we're like, how can we solve this with automation, right? Like all of this busy work stuff that advertisers have to do every day, we can automate with technology. So we ended up trying to raise a funding round actually in the summer, had a term sheet in hand. The terms were kind of sour, and we spent about 6 months trying to finance, pitching like crazy. And we ended up turning down the deal after about 6 months worth of work. But then, we picked ourselves up and we said, we have something here. We have customers. They're paying us. We're growing. And we decided, hey, let's apply to Y-Combinator. So in December, we applied to Y-Combinator, and actually the deadline was October 14th. But on the site, it's like, hey, you can apply up until the batch starts. So we read that and we're like, okay, we have a shot. Like if there's still an opportunity, there's a chance that we can get in. So we applied, and 2 days later, we got the email that we were invited out for an interview. Flew out the weekend before Christmas, which was chaotic travel-wise.
Whoa.
Interviewed, and then we found out we got in, and we had literally 2 weeks to pick up the company and move it from the East Coast to the West Coast. In the meantime, there was Christmas, there was my birthday, my co-founder's birthday, and there was New Year's.
Oh,
so
wow.
You have all that stuff going on in a matter of 2 weeks, where you have to find a place to live, you have to get plane tickets, you have to find a rental car. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was kind of chaotic, but now we've been in YC now. We're about halfway through, and it's been an amazing experience. We have about half of our batch using Cocoon, And we've been really leveraging the network to get in front of some of the bigger companies that are using Facebook ads right now to use our product. So it's been a priceless resource. And, I think we've been learning more in the past, 6 or 7 weeks than we have in the past 6 months, right? So it's like an expedited learning process, which is really what has me most excited. But to tell you a little bit more about what we actually do, I should probably get to that, right? So, essentially, when you're creating a Cocoon campaign, it works a little bit differently than a normal Facebook ad. So what we do is we try to automate every component of the campaign creation, management, monitoring, optimization, A/B testing, literally all of those things that just suck the time out of marketers. So when you create a Cocoon campaign, the first thing that we're going to do is segment out your target audience into a bunch of different ad sets. And what we're going to do is we're going to run one ad at a time inside of each of those ad sets to collect baseline data for the first 48 hours or so. Once we have that baseline data, we'll kick in optimization. So we'll automatically drive the budget into the ads that are performing best based on cost per conversion, but also volume as well.
So when people create their ads with you, they're still creating it as they would on Facebook. I mean, I saw your platform. It's a lot simpler. But do they put in their imagery, their copy, and then do you guys match what will work in different ads put in different ad sets? Okay, so you put it together for them.
So here's the thing, advertisers, we need 3 things. We need 3 data points from advertisers. And this is the part where we can automate, with technology as much as we want. But if an advertiser has a poor creative, if an advertiser doesn't understand who their target customer is, our ads aren't going to work for them, right? So the 3 data points that we need from an advertiser are: 1, what's your budget? Number 2, some creatives. And number 3, who is your target market, right? So we need those 3 things. Once we have those 3 things, and you actually create the campaign, it's literally set it and forget it. So we're going to automate every aspect of campaign creation, management, automation, or optimization as well. So we'll do things like pausing poor performing ads, creating and rotating ads in between the target segments, automatically A/B testing different creatives with different messages to figure out what works and what doesn't. And it ends up saving advertisers anywhere from 40 to 80% versus, boosting a post or creating a single campaign with a single ad set and a single creative. When you make variance in between the ad sets and in between the target market, it really can have a drastic impact on the cost per conversion.
Okay, so for the listeners, for marketers, when creating their ads, I mean, some people, what's ad rotation, what's A/B split testing? That's
Absolutely.
really what you guys are really good at, and you automate for them. Maybe, do you want to tell us a little bit about why that's important to A/B test and ad rotate, and why is that important at all?
Yeah. Absolutely. So we want to make it very, very easy for advertisers. If you're just getting started, actually about 15% of our users have advertised for the first time ever on Facebook through our system. But we want to make it very, very easy for you to create a very sophisticated paid media campaign on Facebook, something that you would probably outsource to an agency, a consultant, or hire a professional paid media manager to do in-house. And the reason that things like A/B testing and segmentation are important is because there are very small by breaking up your target audience, you can get a better granular understanding of how your campaigns are actually performing, and the costs vary dramatically. So say you want to target males, ages 18 to 60, located in New York City, San Francisco, and a few other cities. What we're going to do is we're going to break those up into several different targeting profiles, or what Facebook calls ad sets. So one example would be males 18 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, and we're going to test each individual segment to figure out which segment is going to perform best for you. And what this does is it gives advertisers a really great understanding of their customers as well. So the data that you get back from Facebook ads are essentially, they can act as the new focus group. So if you have an idea of, hey, we're working on this new feature, I want to get it in front of some test customers. We think that our test customer is going to be a male, ages 20 to 30 in New York, right? So you end up running a campaign, and you test out different age segments, and you find out, hey, wait a minute, males ages 40 to 50 are actually clicking through and converting at a much higher pace than what we suspected. So the data that you get back from segmentation is also extremely powerful to drive other marketing objectives as well. But by segmenting it out, essentially, it gives you more granular data, which will help you drive down the cost of conversions.
Yep. So People listening, got to test your ads. You'll actually figure out who your audience is along the way. Not only are you saving money, you're figuring out who your audience is by testing the different target demographics. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the same thing goes with creatives as well, right? So if you're testing one image, you don't really have much data to go on. By testing multiple images, you can understand like some of the images, like you'd be surprised at, the difference in cost per conversion or the difference in volume between, two images. It's really drastic. So it's extremely important to test out different creatives. And another thing that I would recommend also is swapping out new creatives every 4 to 6 weeks, because people see the same thing over and over again and they get sick of it.
Absolutely. Do you ever see a pattern in certain creatives that work, like people or puppies
Yeah.
or yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is common sense, right? Common sense, human psychology, like people
Yep.
smiling, very attractive people. If you have an app, people actually using your app, like holding their phone or tablet or whatever. A lot of that stuff is a lot like common sense, but
Yeah.
people take it for granted. High quality is another thing. Like another thing also is not having more than 20% text in your image, because Facebook, number one, won't let it run, and yeah, number two, it just doesn't look right? So you want to keep the image, very appealing and high quality and have people in it smiling, hopefully.
Yeah. So when we were talking earlier, I think, you mentioned you guys were going to be moving into other paid online advertising, not just for optimization,
Yeah,
not
so
just Facebook. So tell us about that and what
sure.
led you to
So
that.
yeah, absolutely. So the grand vision is for us to automate all of paid media advertising on the internet. So as an advertiser, we want you to come to us and give us those same 3 data points. What's your budget? Give us some creatives to work with, and give us, who your target market is and what that kind of looks like. And we'll automatically test each paid media channel to figure out which one converts best for you and allocate your spend into that channel. So we just want to automate all of paid media advertising, which nobody's really doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you look, a lot of what we're doing is not necessarily new. We're kind of just presenting it in a different way. Right now, it exists in this black box for enterprise software, which of course is clunky in terms of design and costs an arm and a leg to use. So it's kind of out of reach for the majority of advertisers. It's really just for the Fortune 500, and we want to bring that capability to every advertiser on the internet. So we'll have Google AdWords integrated probably within the next week or two.
Wow.
Hopefully by the yeah. So hopefully by the time this interview goes live, that'll be live as well. And then we're working with Twitter, and then also we've been testing promoted pins in Pinterest, promoted pins beta for about 10 months now. And we're working very closely with them. They do not have an ads API yet, but we're going to be hopefully one of the first to get access to that. And then also integrate Pinterest ads as well.
Wow, that's great. What does your team do or what do you guys do now, or what are you going to do to get exposure to your company? Like, do you do inbound marketing, networking? How did that work?
It's funny. We use our own product, right?
Really?
So
Is that what you do?
Yeah,
like 100%?
100% of our marketing strategy is using our own product to drive all of our growth. Yep, absolutely. We eat our own dog food 100%. Going forward, I plan to expand more on our content marketing. I have close to 1 million views on Medium, and I have a bunch of followers on Medium, so I've been using that as a content marketing channel. Okay. And I've spoken about this a lot, in other interviews and stuff. People question me using Medium as a marketing channel and not having like a blog on our site, but Medium has, kind of given us a million opportunities that would have never existed if I didn't start writing there. So,
how so?
Whether it's customers, my posts have been republished on tons of different blogs, Huffington Post, etc. So I've gotten a ton of exposure, and people from around the world. I mean, over 1 million people have read my posts. So people have been exposed to our company and have come through our funnel from my posts. What I typically do is I treat it somewhat like a native advertising channel. So on my post, like down the bottom, I'll put like sponsored by Cocoon or whatever, so that when people are done reading it, they can check that out, so I get a little bit of something out of it. And it tends to work pretty well. We get some decent traffic back from that every month.
Did you have any customer experiences that stuck out in your mind that you felt like, okay, we are on the right path, we really helped them out?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's almost every day here, right? So we get people that email me all the time. Actually, I post out quotes from customer referrals on our Twitter and Facebook almost every day.
I like that. I saw that. The image and
so
the quote. It is very powerful.
Yeah, It's very powerful. And I think, in terms of when it kind of first clicked, when we knew that automation was working, was when we had one of our advertisers reach out and say, I've been doing Facebook advertising for 2 years, and this last campaign that I've been working on, I spent about 6 weeks trying to optimize it. I got my cost per click down to 63 cents, spending hours doing this, right? And I created a Cocoon campaign, and within 3 days, my cost per click was down to 20 cents. And that was just like a really wow moment where, and he's like, and I did it from my iPad on my bed, right? And I was like, that's a big wow moment where, we're really providing some true value. I get on the phone with advertisers. That's basically what I do all day is I talk to our advertisers. I do 100% of our customer service. That's another very big part of how we've grown, and it's a very big part of our philosophy here is fast, friendly, and focused customer service. So people, when they get a reply directly from the CEO as well, it's a really big deal to them, and especially when they send an email or something and I reply instantly. I mean, whether it's 1 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon, unless I'm on a call, obviously like this, but as soon as I get the email, I will reply, and if they have an issue, I'll answer it or a question.
Great. Well, thanks, Andrew. That was a lot of great information. I want to end it with a quick 5 rapid fire questions for you.
Sure.
And they are, how do you energize yourself throughout the day?
I'm extremely passionate about this company and about digital advertising. So I get up every single day. Some days I get 4 or 5 hours sleep. I don't sleep much. But coffee helps, I think is probably my biggest tip. But I'm just so passionate about what we're doing and about digital advertising and about our products. So that's really what I get my energy from.
Yeah, I can tell. And what is the first thing you do, I guess, when you get home, or maybe you work from home?
Yeah, we work out of a house. We actually all live together. But the first thing I do when I get home, I like to work out. So my co-founder and I have been lifting since we're about 16. So we'll go right to the gym.
Oh, that's so fun. Are you and your co-founder best friends, it sounds like, since
Yep.
beginning of time?
Yeah. We grew up together, and actually it's funny because my grandfather and his father were in business together as well a couple of decades ago. So we're kind of repeating that process.
That's so cool. And how is it working with a friend? Friends in business?
It's definitely not without its challenges, right? Yeah. So we're not immune to agreeing to everything, right? It's definitely a challenge, but I think that the biggest thing is having respect for each other. So we both respect each other's talents, and we both respect what we've done to get here. And if we have a disagreement, we talk it out. Business is business. We don't let it come between our friendship or come between growing the business to where we want it to go.
That's good. That's good advice for people working with their friends. And are you a morning or night person?
Oh, I'm definitely a night owl, 100%.
All right. And what's the number one tip you would give a Facebook advertiser looking to optimize their Facebook?
Yes, sure. So I would say treat it like a science experiment. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket at once. Start out very slow. Start out with a smaller budget. And as you learn what's working and what's not, then you start to increase your budget. I think a lot of people kind of just dive in and throw a ton of money and expect sales to come in through the door. But it takes some time to understand what works and what doesn't. So treat it like a science experiment and create a bunch of different experiments to figure out what works and what doesn't. And that's what we're trying to make it very easy for you to do.
Perfect. And what's the best advice you've ever been given in your position?
That's a tough one. That's a good question. I think the best advice I've ever been given is to know what you don't know. So to understand that ego sometimes gets in the way of progress. And I think being able to put that aside and understand, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to product development, so I'm going to leave that 100% up to my co-founder, right? I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to product development. I'm going to leave that 100% up to him, right? So understanding what you don't know is really a key component to success, and not letting your ego get in the way. You have to be willing to admit that you know what you don't know.
Great. And how can people contact you if they want to reach out to you and want to tell us about your little launching or big launching tomorrow?
Yeah. So you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm extremely responsive. I'm pretty active on Twitter. It's at Torba Hacks. That's
He is. You got back to me so fast.
It's Torbahax, which is a nickname that I was given in about 7th grade. Let's see. Outside of that, you can email me, andrew@cocoon.com. And our launch is tomorrow. We're going to go live on TechCrunch, and also Product Hunt at the same time. So that should be very exciting.
Yay! Excited to see. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today, Andrew. And we'll definitely keep in touch and keep a close eye on you guys.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time. And you can check out any of our past interviews if you click on any of the videos over here.